30-second first call for Culture Committee. The Culture Committee to order at 11 o'clock, and if we would all please stand, Councilor Teehee is going to give the invocation.
Unetlana, we rise to meet each new day. Please let us be filled with your spirit. Wherever we go, let us spread love, joy, peace, goodness, and faithfulness. Let us desire to become more like you and to worship you in all we do. Thank you for always going before us. We ask this in your name, in prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Candessa. And Shelley, ready for roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Victoria Vasquez. Candessa Teehee. Keith Austin. Here. Danny Callison. Here. Julia Coates. Here. Sean Crittenden. Here. Joe Deere. Mike Dobbins. Here. Rex Jordan. Here. Johnny Kidwell. Daryl Legg. Here. Wes Snowfire. Dora Petzkowski. Here. Joshua Sam. Mike Shambaugh. Melvina Shotpouch. E.O. Smith. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Shelley. All right, I would ask if we've all had a chance to look over the minutes from the last meeting. Someone motion? All right, second and motion. All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. All right, we begin with our reports, and the first one up is Mr. Travis Owens for Cultural Tourism. Thank you for being here.
Is that on now? Okay. Obviously, my first in-person meeting in a while. And Molly couldn't be with you today. We have had a conflict with the CMB committee meeting, so she's at that meeting giving a report. So happy to be with you all today. You should have a copy of the report, but I'll just cover a couple highlights and then ask any questions you may have. So we are heavily focused right now on the final stages of development of the Cherokee Nation Anna Mitchell Cultural and Welcome Center in Veneta. We're looking forward to an opening of that this summer. Still trying to finalize some details there. But it's going to be a great attraction for our northern part of the reservation. It's a mixed-use development that will serve as a welcome center. It's got two permanent galleries, one that features Miss Anna Mitchell and her work. It's also got a changing gallery, which will open with the Cherokee Pottery Show, so a show and sell. It's got a gift shop, a grab-and-go cafe that will have a cultural menu. And then we're really excited about the extensive landscaping, outdoor performance space. And then we've got some flexible classroom space downstairs that we hope to do some community and cultural classes in. Also want to highlight, we have been telling you about our downtown cultural pathway that connects our museums downtown. We're really excited. We're getting ready within the next few weeks to open a brand new exhibit that will be an outdoor large-scale exhibit that will feature the works of Tracy Rabbit. So that's going to be a new adventure for us. We'll have these very large-scale reproductions of her artwork that should really make that pathway a destination. We're also moving forward with the feasibility study and master site planning for Dwight Mission. That project will be kicked off very soon. We're just finalizing that contract right now. We're also working to relocate the Cherokee Nation gift shop that I hope all you are familiar with over to Cherokee Springs Plaza. That we're real excited about that space. It's going to be right next to the Cherokee National Research Center, and then our gallery that we've been using for our Cherokee Heritage Center programming when that site's been closed. I will also just note that the Cherokee Homecoming Art Show will run August 13th through September 10th. The application period is going to open next week, June 3rd. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. That was an extensive report, and it looks like we've got some great things going on. Thank you, Travis. Anyone have questions? Yes, Counselor Lake.
So I don't expect you to answer right now, but I've had somebody ask me about the amphitheater. Is that something that we're still looking into revamping and opening up soon?
Yeah, so we just finalized, and I think it came to you all in January, I believe, the strategic plan, which kind of set the future for what the Heritage Center will become. We definitely, within that plan, identified the need for outdoor performance space in a venue, like the amphitheater. We're still working through, we're getting ready to award or bid out the master site plan for that. That will be fully informed by that strategic plan.
Anyone else? Yes.
So, on Dwight Mission, what should kind of be our standard answer when people ask us how long for it to be open or something? What should we tell them?
Yeah, I think right now, we'll know more within the next 6 months after we finish this master site plan. Right now, the facilities that are existing are not adequate to support really any type of public programming, so restrooms and access like that. We're still examining, just general site operations for site access. I know that's requested a lot. And so I'll work to get you an update on when we could expect that as well. But the larger property with the use of public buildings, we'll know after we wrap this master site planning up, which should be about 6 months, so very late fall.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you so much,
Thank you all
Travis.
so
Good
much.
to see you. Next up would be Mr. Howard Hayden with the Cherokee Nation Language Department. It was so great seeing you in North Carolina. We had a wonderful time with that mound opening, didn't we?
Nice to be home and to be there for the ceremonies and most, both the formal ceremonies and then the informal ceremonies that happened there. And it was nice to see a good representation from our council members there as well. So I enjoyed it, spending time with you guys. So I won't take a long time because, as everybody knows, the Cherokee Language Department is doing a lot of things, and so to spell out everything is, I don't want to be too redundant, but I do want to hit a few highlights. Mr. Ed Fields has started his spring language course, online language course, which is always a big hit among folks that's at large and those that may not be real close to areas that they can get their language programs that's close to Telequa or that sort of thing. We do have some out in the communities as well. We are opening up our community language classes again, which is really, really good. That's something that we're working through all the contracts and stuff now. So we're opening that up for this summer. We've graduated some students from the immersion school, which is always fun. We was able to do that at the immersion school this time. It was kind of like a little bit of it was rewarding, but it's a little bit in the back of your mind. You know that you're going to a new building. This is the last time we're doing this here, and this new building is going to be great and wonderful. But I also, on a personal level, I've dropped my kids off there at 3 years old and came and got them every time. So there's a little bit of you're shutting the door and you're going into the new phase, but that's something that we did on that site on purpose because we wanted to honor the time that we spent there. We've we're opened up the Master Apprentice applications to allow people to apply. That'll be open until mid-June. and that'll be for the new cohort in September. We've been involved in a lot of different things. We've touched a little bit about what happened last weekend in North Carolina. I know that there's many things that we forgot. Forgot, but I will tell you that speaker service is going as fast as it can. I think some of the council members have been involved in that, and that we're trying to do the best we can as fast as we can. This is something that's new to our elders. They're not quite new to the tribe, really taking interest in that population and making sure that they're taken care of, and that's something that we're taking pride in. I'm hoping we can keep the level of quickness that we're able to handle some of them situations. I'm hoping we're able to keep that even if higher numbers come. So it kind of scares us a little bit. The more that's known about, the more we'll have to kind of dig a little deeper to make sure that that we don't let anything slip through our fingers. So it's a little bit concerning to us because we want to keep that high standard for our elder speakers. But with that being said, I'd be more than happy to answer anything. There's a lot in our report, so.
Yes, Counselor Danny.
Howard, this may have slipped, but if we have, in our district, we have like a first speaker that has housing issues or something of that sort, do we come through your office or just continue to go through housing or through water?
So with speaker services, we do work with housing authority. Now, if it's a replacement home, speaker services isn't doing replacement homes. That goes through housing, but if it's a smaller job, maybe a roof, walk-in shower, or something like that, speaker services tries to help with that. So we coordinate with housing. Sometimes Jerry Killer is really easy to work with. She's very busy, just like, you can go up and down the halls of the Cherokee Nation right now. Everybody's working around the clock, but we're able to come in and help with that, and it's been, we've had a pretty good relationship, and so it's working out rather well.
Yes, let me get Julia first, and then I'll get you, Sean. Julia?
Thank you. Thank you. Howard, there was a lot of celebration about the expansion of initiatives to the at-large folks, and I'm beginning to get questions about specifics. And I wondered, I know we don't want to take up time here because it is a very extensive report and a lot of things going on in your department, but I was wondering if you might be able to provide to both Counselor Kidwell and myself some kind of, specific information about what is coming up in the future for at-large people. Would it be possible to give us something like that?
Absolutely. So what we've worked with is we've written a couple of job descriptions. One's for a first language speaker, and the other one is for second language speakers. And then we have where we can, with that budget, we have where we can do some contracts, depending on the specific needs of that. So we've written them job descriptions. They're in the process, I believe, of being rated now. And as soon as we get them back, we're going to publish them and see who applies and that sort of thing. So that's going to be the fun part, is making sure we pick the right people once that happens. And so that's where we're at on it, Ms. Councilor Coates. So.
Would it be possible for you to send me the job descriptions so that I can put those out to some people that might be interested in applying, just to make sure that they know about them? I think it's likely they do, but just in case.
Just as soon as that becomes posted and they have it's finalized and stuff, and we start to post that, I can get with Mr. Boney, and he's over that process. He's actually helped, was the one that wrote the job description, that sort of thing. So, and Mr. Boney has he has quite the capabilities. So I'll get with him and get him to send them to you if that's all right. So, when it comes
I
time.
appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, no,
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Counselor Crittenden.
Hey, Howard, that speaker service is going great down Adair County way.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. Just, it's really, really cool, getting a lot of help done. I was going to ask you to a brief kind of explanation of kind of what's going on at the Greasy Immersion School site, and
okay.
what recent plans are coming.
So, and speaker services is a hit in Adair County because there's a large population of Cherokee speakers. I will tell you, I'm not able to go to every one of the homes, but the ones I go to, it's amazing how our people is. They could almost have almost nothing, yet they're going to offer you the best they have. And I leave there thinking, man, I need to be a better Cherokee. And so that them elders still have it over there. So yeah. But Greasy, we've opened up 4 positions to do 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds, and we've made that selection, and we're trying. Our HR process. They are hiring a lot of people over there, and so we're waiting for us to get them back. There's some of them that we've been working with. We've started doing the training and that sort of thing with them, the ones we can get our hands on. So we haven't got all of them back, but we're wanting them 4 back and ready and train them up and get them ready to start them classes. So we're preparing for that, and then we're preparing for next year to increase that to 4-year-olds. And as the years go by, we'll just add a year each time. So that's doing good. And then this as soon as we get them all trained up, we've got to get them in and get them all trained up. I will tell you that that community is getting majorly excited, and they want that done yesterday. And I'm wanting that done yesterday too. We have the summer program in there that we've put some kids that's came from Cherokee speaking homes. That's between the age of 16 and 21. We're doing a summer program there, and we're it's real good to kind of get our cafeteria running and all the things that we're doing there. We recently got a new play equipment and that sort of thing there that the community's excited, where they can kind of, some of them come and walk the track, and then that new playground equipment, their kids or grandkids can play on while they're doing that. So they're excited about that, but they just stop by. About every time I'm there, there's somebody stopping by and just, where can we help? What can we do? So that support from that community is reassuring. I will tell you that.
They're exciting, and they're excited what's to come. Are we going to get to keep the name Greasy?
So the plan is to change that to Cherokee, so it would be Go Ichu and Desquasti, So it would be Greasy School, because all of them, they keep wanting to, they come in, that's their name, they're excited about that. Mr. Travis has met with us, and even that old school that used to be there that burnt down, so many of them graduated there. So many of our speaker population graduated there. And so we're kind of doing, even in the art up and down that, in the hallway, we're kind of representing some of them, that old speaker population, and maybe some pictures of that old school and that sort of thing to honor them. So it's working
Yeah,
good.
shoot, that's great. Now, was we able to keep that name in there somewhere? I know it's going to be Cherokee Immersion.
Yeah,
But
so it'd
the
be,
Greasy and the
it's,
Cardinal.
yeah.
We're going to be able to keep any of that mascot stuff, the gym.
So the plan is it's gonna be Greasy School, but it's gonna be in Cherokee. And so it's just translated to Cherokee. Now that mascot, we may end up, Roy and some of them guys, them artists that came through and said, hey, we can keep this, but we kind of want to put symbol over the I, that we do when we start, for
Yeah.
the Cherokee art, we're gonna make this Cherokee. So, they have a lot of pride in their community.
They
have a
do.
lot of pride in that school, and they should. So we have no desire to
Oh, yeah.
mess that up, but, where we can put a Cherokee flair, we're gonna do it.
Oh, exactly,
So-
and so they will have a little bit of
Yeah.
greasy in the name of that place.
Yeah, it'd just be in Cherokee, so.
That's good, and, living in that, teaching in that area, raised up in Adair County. Now, eventually, when we get to the older, kids, 7th and 8th, 5th and 6th, 7th and
Yeah.
8th, they might join some of the athletics there, right in Adair County. I mean, Peavine Panthers might be playing Greasy Immersion School,
Yeah.
Cardinals, is that
Yeah,
kind of
so
in the
that's,
works later on?
Of course, we're wanting, we've seen that in our own immersion school here in Tahlequah where, Cherokee are folks, are people that's about sports and, we're about language but I've seen kids pulled out just to go play somewhere and then brought back. So, whether we like it or not, Cherokees are about that, and so we're gonna have to up our
Yeah.
game on that, and we know that. And so
Yeah,
we may have to partner with a local school or whatever until we get, because you don't wanna put resources in kids for them to get to 5th, 6th grade and somebody pull them out just because of sports. So we're having to,
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
say contracts, you can do all kinds of different things, but Cherokees are still,
Yeah, we're gonna have
sports
to deal
people.
with that for
We're gonna
sure,
have to
aren't
deal
we?
with that,
Because
so.
it's so big. I mean, they may love the language and want to learn it,
Right.
but
Basketball
when you
means
get to
something.
Adair County,
Yeah.
by golly, they're gonna wanna play sports too.
Yeah.
So that's exciting, the possibilities of,
Well, and
things like that.
you've been in there, Counselor, that gymnasium is really,
it's
really
best in the
nice.
county,
Yeah,
I think.
and so we want to take advantage of that. We just want to do it all in Cherokee.
We're
Yeah.
excited. I can speak for Josh and different ones, excited that that's where that little place landed, right there in Greasy, Adair County.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the work you and your staff are doing.
Enjoy your legacy.
Thank you, Harry. Thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to say, Sean, you might have to learn to say greasy in Cherokee. You might have to teach me, too. All right, Counselor Shopouch.
Howard, I just want to thank you for your supplying us the other night for a first speakers meeting, and we was real pleased with those that showed up, and I think they were all happy. We had, I think, probably 2 or 3 Catuas that came, but, we all have to come together to, preserve our language, even though, we can't do things for them, but they provided some words that we had forgotten. A lot of times, sometimes we forget a word that may come later, but when you've got them, somebody knows what that word is, and so it was great to converse with all that was there, and the turnout was great, I thought, but didn't send enough balloon,
Aguan.
but thank you
Tossing
anyway.
Doug. Yeah, I'm sorry we ran out of bologna. We'll have to do a little better. It's amazing that the bologna ran out before the chicken, right? And so, only in the Cherokee world do you run out of bologna before you run out of steak. But we'll have to double the order next time. Well done.
Counselor Teehee, did you have a comment?
Well, and to clarify, gon means greasy in
Yeah.
Cherokee.
Right.
So greasy's right there in the name
Yeah.
of the school, upholding those community history, heritage, and principles, because I know that our Greasy community is a very proud community, and that's something that the immersion school wants to recognize. So I commend the language department on that. I just wanted to give some recognition to the Speaker Services Program. I've reached out on behalf of a couple of speakers who were in great distress and had serious issues that were going on. Elder speakers who did not have any resources to call on. And our Speaker Services Program stepped up and stepped in. And a lot of our speakers in our communities, unfortunately, are in the lower socioeconomic brackets. And a lot of them, their family doesn't take care of them the way that they took care of their family. And they're isolated, and sometimes they're lonely. And so I really appreciate the work that Speaker Services does to help these folks and to get them safe, get them taken care of, and to make their living conditions better. And also, I've heard from people who, Mr. Sammy Eagle, Speaker Services program employee, when he comes up and he's speaking Cherokee to them, it touches their heart in a way that's really hard to express. It's hard to put into words. So I just really want to commend you and your department on the work that's being done through Speaker Services, and it really in everything you do, but in Speaker Services, for your quick response and the care that you show our speakers.
Well, though, Counselor, I will tell you, I never dreamed that have the honor to do some of the things that we're able to do right now. And it's really rewarding to be in them homes and to see some of the things that we see. And we had one of the speakers had refrigerator had went out, and that got a call 5:30 or 6 one night, and next morning at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock had one there. And you talking about just totally blown away that we're ready to help you. And so when we're there, a lot of Cherokee, a lot of talking, but them elders, they have a connection with God, and we need that. And so every time I feel so honored to be in there, see their faces, but I feel honored. One of the things is we ask them, hey, while you're here, would you mind praying over us? And I wish now that we would have started recording everyone in prayers, because they're so deep in Cherokee. And I get in the car and the truck and think, boy, what an honor to have that level of prayer and protection on my own life. You know what I'm saying? That we're not doing that for that, but if we've got to take care of our elders, and when we do, maybe the byproduct is allow them elders to use their connection to touch God for us and to bless our department. So I'm honored, and as you know, Greasy School, when we started Master Apprentice, we never dreamed that one day we would have that school. And that community stepped up around us and gave us their language. They gave us their best. And I never, that wasn't planned. That this, I think, he already knew what he was going to do. And to see that happen and to see that pride, because we started working in that community 8-9 years ago when we first started Master Apprentice, and they just believed that the Cherokee Nation could do anything at this point. And so it's to see that faith that our people has is, man, it's not something that we're used to, but it's good to see.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate that. There are times when, I come from a family of speakers, first language speakers, and I was having a conversation with another speaker just recently, and I mentioned I wish that some of the speakers in my family, I wish that they had lived to see this day where speakers are celebrated and where speakers are taken care of and where speakers are given priority. That didn't happen, but we've got plenty of speakers left that we can show that love to.
I would have loved to have been able to back up to Ed Grass's house and work on that or something, you know what I mean? Because he gave me, when I was a kid, his very best. So, yeah, them are the same people we think about.
Thank you for the time, Chair.
Well done.
Certainly. Follow-up, Counselor Crittenden?
Follow up and just, the greasy place, going years back, the talk that Delonaghy and Greasy were combining.
Yeah.
These same folks you're talking about, come to me. And at the time, there wasn't an answer what this place was gonna be named. I can't remember if they went Delonaghy for a little while but the Greasy residents did not like that one bit, or the majority. I mean, there might have been some that liked it. But, that was what I was wanting clarification on earlier, because they're still asking. And I didn't ask Chief, or I don't think I asked you, I asked somebody else what the intentions were about keeping the Greasy name.
Yeah.
And, so, just now on TV, if any of them's watching,
Yeah.
You confirmed what a councilman wasn't for sure
Right.
what was gonna be the name. So, it's way, way, way deep, like in their hearts, that community. So, to hear that we're gonna keep that name, and, a while ago, when we first were talking, I thought you said, when I asked, you said, no, we're gonna do it Cherokee.
Yeah.
And so,
So,
yeah. Now,
It'd be greasy, but it's just said in Cherokee.
I've heard go eat before.
Yeah.
And, I've heard that before. But what do you got, Nevada?
Check this out, Howard. Grease is going, huh?
Go eat,
Okay.
huh?
And check that out.
Go eat, huh?
Well, there's
Yeah.
we do have a native speaker. We'll spell it right. We'll make sure we
Yeah,
go through the
yeah.
translation. I just know what they say down there. They'll say, you may say, ask them, where do you live at? Where do you, Tussa, or where did you grow up at? They'll say, go in, so they'll, but you know how everybody shortens stuff. But when it's spelled, it'll be spelled as translations. We've got a lot of people a lot smarter than what I am. It's helping us.
Me too.
So-
But anyway, I'm so glad that that's the plan. And, just, it's a home deal
Yeah.
for me. And my Cherokees, I would never claim to speak it. I might come in third on the,
Right.
I might could fool somebody for a little while,
Right.
but never would. I respect it too much to do
Right.
that.
Right.
But keeping Greasy,
Yeah.
in Cherokee, that's even more special.
Yeah.
But to them, to keep that name, and it's kind of like, well, Sean's talking about that today. No, it's years of people contacting me
Yeah.
from that area, adamant that they keep some of their, and you
Yeah.
guys are doing that. So,
Councilor Crittenton, when we first started visiting, meeting with Delonaghy and that sort of thing, we didn't know this was gonna happen, but just walking through this halls there, a lot of them would say, Greasy. They'd point towards their heart. It was at Delonaghy, but and so that's something we knew, and so,
we've all got our
And
own
our
home
chief
communities. And
he's lined up trying to make sure that, because we want them to have their identity, and,
me and Miss Betty back there, we got a little pea vine. We know what that home community,
Yeah.
and different things. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
appreciate you again, and that little thing I probably talked too much about, means a whole lot, as you know, to those Greasy folks.
I know.
And I
know.
appreciate you all doing that.
I've received a lot of phone calls myself, so.
Thank you, Chair.
You're welcome. Anyone else? I just would like to ask you to stay after this meeting. I have a thing to talk to you about, Howard,
Hold on.
if you got time.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Hold on.
Thanks for being here.
Well done.
All right, next up, we've got Community and Cultural Outreach Department, and Mr. Kevin Stretch is here. Welcome.
Still to God. Ooh, Howard is way taller than I am. Okay. So I'd like to start out by reminding everyone that our CCO's annual conference is going to be August 6th, and it's going to be virtual. We had to make a decision early on what to do so that we could arrange the planning, and at that time, we were still under COVID, and so we were concerned. So we're just going to have it all virtual. That being said, and I think I've told you before that we're starting to get 750 pieces of artwork from Cherokee National Treasures to give away to each of the CCO participants that are organizational leaders. And so we have some beautiful stuff coming in, and we're very proud of it. And our organizational leaders are going to love them. The volunteer program continues to grow and expand. We're mostly known for wheelchair ramps, but now we're doing roofs and other repairs, flooring, porches, and we're doing a lot of work with the speaker services as well on some of their projects. So I think we're working really well together. The cemetery program, this year we're well over 100 cemeteries that we're sponsoring, and this is the first year since I've been at CCO, which is going on 9 years, that we're going to be close to using the entire budget for that. So that's great. And the call for headstones and headstone repair has increased as well. So we're also doing work on with language services on the Cherokee-speaking churches, focused around the language hubs in the Cherokee Nation. And so those are projects that we're starting to work on, getting bids on with the organizations, with the churches. So that's something that is new to us that we're really excited about, and I think it's going to do great work. Right now, with all this rain, we've had a couple of quick projects that included fixing a couple of driveways and a couple of parking lots that have been washed out. So program planning is in progress for on-reservation presentations for cultural and historical presentations. So we're supposed to be contacting each of you in the near future so that we can try to coordinate with your meetings, that we can have presentations at that time. Okay. At-large events and presentations are continuing both online and in person. We had our first one in California that was very successful, and coming up next week, it's going to be in Marietta, Georgia. So, and we have several new organizations that have requested application to be CCO participating organizations, as well as, we're working on a couple of new buildings, and as well as applications for new construction. So with that, if you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them.
Thank you, Kevin. Does anyone have any questions? Yes, Counselor Teehee.
Thank you for being here today, Kevin. I always appreciate seeing you, Scotty. So you do a lot of work with nonprofits through the community outreach portion for some. And at one point in time, there used to be nonprofits organized under Cherokee Nation. My understanding is that you're kind of encouraging them to go a different route because they've simplified that process, and that's great. So for these organizations, these nonprofits who kind of have some questions on how expenses kind of relate to their mission, or kind of what's allowed, what's not allowed, does CCO offer those resources, or is there somewhere that you prefer to direct those organizations?
The majority of questions we can answer at CCO through our experiences with them. And so that's something that we typically take care of. it's hard for me to remember a time when we didn't have the answer to a question for a nonprofit or for an organization
Okay.
in their capacity building.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much. I know that the Oklahoma Center for Nonprofits here in the state of Oklahoma is a great resource for nonprofit organizations as well. But if they're able to reach out to CCO, even better. So
Yeah.
when I get a question, I'll be sure to refer them to you guys over at CCO.
Okay, and we actually use the Center for Nonprofits for some of our trainings as well.
Right,
So
right.
we do work with them.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Scotty.
How-
Thank you
how-
for the time, Chair.
Yes, you're welcome. Danny had asked me before this meeting about an artist or, coming to his community to present either a workshop or something. Is that the same thing you're talking about when you said these presentations in your communities?
Yes, yes.
Would that be a workshop or just a presentation?
It could be either one.
Okay,
It's usually 1 to 2 hours that these presentations occur. And so, you can contact me, and I will forward that to Abraham Bearpaw, who's coordinating these.
great. Thank you. Anyone else? Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Dobbins. I had your name down, then I forgot to look at you.
Kevin, did you mention CCO is able to assist with driveway assistance? You said parking lot driveways that are washed out?
Not necessarily any, we work with organizations, and the Cherokee-speaking churches were the ones that we were helping fix their driveways
Okay.
on that.
So
So if
just-
an organization is having an issue, that's something that we can do.
Okay, but not individuals?
We can discuss it,
Okay,
as part of our volunteer program.
okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Sure. Yes, Counselor Smith.
Can I have 5 after the meeting? Just meet this a little bit?
Anyone else? Okay. Thank you for a good report, Kevin. Appreciate
Well
you
done,
being
well done.
here. Last but certainly not least, we have Miss Betty Frog here to give us some information about the Cherokee National Treasures. Welcome, Betty.
Sione God. Cherokee National Treasures are featured at the Saline Courthouse Museum on a 3-month rotating basis. The following treasures and their work that are featured right now are Kathy and Perry Van Buskirk, husband and wife. They're honored in baskets and traditional weapons. They opened up on March 29th, and their show will end on June 25th. Dennis Six Killer will be coming up, and Dennis was honored in the language, and his opening will be the 28th and ending in September 24th. The mentorship program for fiscal year 22 is open for National Treasures to sign up. The program budgets 10 National Treasures to host class sessions for 2 or more students at a time. There are currently 4 treasurers committed to teaching classes. Postings are open for the 2022 Cherokee National Treasure nominations with the deadline for submission on June 10th, 2022. As in the years past, there are ads placed in a Cherokee Phoenix. There is a link to the nomination form on cherokee.org and on the dsco.com. The Community and Cultural Outreach Department is assisting in getting the word out to the Cherokee community groups. Tanya Weevil, Cherokee National Treasure for Traditional Clothing, was awarded Best of Show at the Trail of Tears Art Show and sale for her ensemble titled Flower Dress and Purse. And it is with the deepest sympathy that we reported the passing of Cherokee National Treasure, Callista Manley, painting. Services for Callista were held on March 16th in Pryor, Oklahoma. She was 97 years old. Any questions?
Anyone have questions for her? Yes, Counselor Teehee.
Galiga head don't screw.
What don't?
Well, so I'm happy to see you here today, Gehunig, and this may not be a question that you have the answer to. It may be something that maybe Travis may be able to weigh in on. At a previous Culture Committee meeting, I had made the request of possibly having a website addition somewhere in the Cherokee Nation family of websites where all of our Cherokee National Treasures are listed. I know there's a Wikipedia entry, but it's pretty sparse. And since the publication of the Cherokee National Treasures book, it feels like a lot of that information is readily available. You don't necessarily need to kind of go and comb through a lot of things to find that information. But unless you have that book, that's really the only place you can find it. So I would like to kind of reinstitute that request that there be, an addition somewhere to a website where even there's just a listing of Cherokee National Treasures, even if there's not necessarily bio information for every single national treasure. But I do get requests, and I don't really have any place to send people other than saying, well, you need to go buy this, I think it's like a $50 book. So I would like to see that information become more readily available and more publicly accessible. And hopefully that might be something that cultural tourism can assist with, because I know that, the National Treasures Advisory Committee, I would think would be in unanimous agreement on making that information more accessible to the public.
Travis?
Yes, I think we.
Would you get on the mic?
See if I can, is it working? Did I figure it out this time? Okay. Yeah, and sorry, we must have missed that formal request. We did have a request to provide an opportunity for National Treasures to sell their artwork online. So we've accomplished that through the Cherokee Nation gift shop site. So we've got a special treasure section. But definitely, we will explore, what that looks like within a current site or a standalone site, and agree that that information is not readily accessible. And it should be, as long as the treasurers want that out there. So we'll definitely explore that and then bring that back to you.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you for the time, Chair.
I too think that would be a good idea. I know that we have intentionally not released information because sometimes these people don't want to be connected or contacted. But I think if we at least have a listing of the name, what their award was for, what year they got it, maybe, and then at the end of it, at the website, you could say for further information or to contact Donetta Johnson or whoever. But I definitely think we need that too.
I think we do have that information, don't we, Travis?
We have it and we have collected it. We don't make it publicly accessible.
Right. But we can work on that. Thank you. Thank you, Betty. Thank you, Travis. Anyone else have any questions for Betty?
I would just
yes,
like to make a comment. I don't know if we do anything special for a national treasure after they pass away, but I think an emblem or something on their headstone identifying them as national treasure would be a great thing for us to do. I'm just throwing it out there as, something we can think about, but, if we have a national treasure emblem or something that we use, or maybe it's just our seal, but something that identifies them as a national treasure, I think that would be a great honor as well.
I think that's a good idea. Thank you. We'll look into that, won't we, Betty and Travis? Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone.
What else?
Old business, none pending. New business, none pending. Does anyone besides me have an announcement?
I would like to say for our community in Bellefonte, the gathering is this Saturday from 10 to 4. We have a secret special guest going to sing. I can't release that information right now. You just got to show up to see who it is. But it's a great time. We're going to have archery. We're going to have horseshoes. We're going to have, cornhole tournaments, a lot of food. It's a good time.
Great. It does sound like fun. All right. The next meeting is tentatively scheduled for Thursday, July 28th at 11 a.m. I need a motion. Meeting is adjourned.